Hey everyone, welcome back to Valley Chat. Pastor John Karolus here with Pastor Scott Seidler. Today we're talking about wrapping up our capital campaign and especially dwelling on the idea of Thanksgiving. Pastor Scott, happy Wednesday. How are you doing today? How are you? How's your enthusiasm going for finishing up this campaign? And what excitement are you carrying into next week with Thanksgiving?
Well, as you know, I celebrated my 55th birthday yesterday. So I had about 12,000 calories worth of food. So I've been rolling myself about the office and house, trying to recover from the food coma. So overall, emotionally, I'm doing well. Physically, with Thanksgiving upon us, the gym has to become a part of my regimen for life again. I mean, we can't I just can't live like this anymore.
We've got
So
that
other
turkey trot coming up. We've got the
th-
5K.
yes, the turkey trot. I'm going to try to make it over for that. I haven't run in like weeks. Overall, doing great. We've got the Next Generation Capital campaign is wrapping up in terms of the formal process we go through with a capital campaign. It's been 5 weeks of cultivation, and now we're coming to the celebration consecration weekend, consecration Sunday. We have got some really inspiring wind at our back. I've talked with some pretty significant donors that are stepping up. And so I'm really excited where I think this campaign's going to end up. And then we're going into December and immediately piggybacking the campaign with some decisions. God willing, the congregation will affirm the final approvals for the building and construction. We can get into the real heavy planning, which we have held off on in order to make sure that we're not spending money we don't really want to spend. But we get into the heavy planning, and then hopefully mid 2026, we're breaking ground and we are on our way. Hopefully, Easter 2027, we are in a completed campus renovation.
It's an exciting time.
It is, it's an exciting time.
Not only was it your birthday yesterday, we had our all-staff Thanksgiving
We
staff
did
meeting party thing,
a revelation.
which was great. I had the pleasure of hosting our Thanksgiving Family Feud game,
Yep.
and it was great getting the crowd responses to all the disappointment for the answers for those categories. But also, Jen Marmaduke and I getting to perform our annual uh, rewritten song for Shepherd themed festivity and celebration,
Frivolity. Hey,
frivolity.
which table won the game yesterday with the Family Feud top
Yeah, let
seven?
me let me try and remember who's at the table. Let's see. Barb was there. Bev was there. And you were at that table, weren't you?
Oh, I
Congratulations.
was. I got a Starbucks gift card, more pumpkin spice latte,
Your
which
table
was
had
one of the things I ate.
426 points. The second table had 424.
That's
You
right.
just you just made it to the top, and it was well deserved.
How
Well
many
deserved.
points were possible, John, in that whole game?
500.
And how many? 426.
426. 426. You should be proud. If you're not proud, you should be proud.
Yeah, yeah. There were some sketchy areas in there. Well, hey, we've got Thanksgiving week coming up. We've got the close of the capital campaign. You're getting ready to have a baby. Talk about how this last Thanksgiving, sans child,
Oh.
is kind of striking you. I mean, you're not going to have leftovers in your house because Kaylee is eating for two at this stage. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, we'll be traveling down to celebrate Thanksgiving with her family.
Love
And
it.
actually, yeah, one of my sisters is coming into town, so sort of a joint family celebration. And
Right.
honestly, I don't know that we've thought a whole lot about it specifically.
Yep.
Um, Especially, I think this holiday season, just with preschool end of the semester, they've got Thanksgiving, they got pumpkin parties in October, Christmas parties in December. It's busy, busy, busy for the classrooms, and then obviously on the church side, we've got a
Right.
pretty busy calendar as well. So sometimes the holidays just sort of, you wake up and it's Thanksgiving, you wake up and it's Christmas Day or
Right.
Christmas Eve, and all of a sudden there you are celebrating it. So that's kind of the season we're in now. One thing we're going to be talking about on Sunday this weekend is just uh, rejoicing in the Lord for what He has provided, recognizing that everything comes from Him, and it then is given for Him. So even though we're finishing up setting up a capital campaign, as much as it feels like a finish line, it's also, I think, a starting line into really what realizing the future that God is calling us to here at Shepherd is going to look like. And so I think the enthusiasm is really only going to build over the next 18 to 24 months as we continue in that effort, specifically around the Shea campus renovation.
I don't think, and sometimes we get into this like a new season comes upon us and we speak a little bit in hyperbole about how great it's going to be. I don't know. I can't remember a time where I have felt more wind at my back in ministry than I do right now at Shepherd Scottsdale. Um, we're landing a lot of busy staff activity and congregational leader activity. So there's a lot of things as I've been kind of using the metaphor. We're landing a lot of planes, but with that landing of planes, like you just said, we're on the start of a new season as a result of all of that cargo that's being delivered, whether it's strategic planning, capital campaign, donor development, relations, the generosity of our congregation to our ongoing ministry. And then we've got just some amazing stuff coming on the other side of the new year with our Red Letter Challenge Forgiveness Challenge, which will be a small group initiative, introducing the strategic work that we've been doing with Bill Woolsey and the 5-2 Network. And then all of a sudden, we've got babies, my grandchild, your son, so great. And then we're at Easter. And then we're at summer. And then we're playing cheap golf again. And it's 100 degrees and we're floating in pools. And, so I just feel like while we've been speeding along for these past several months, I feel like the acceleration going through and into and through 2026 is going to be even more manic in just a really Sabbath resty kind of God honoring way.
I, uh, I one disagreement I have with you there is I think you'll be playing a lot of golf next summer. I'm not sure that'll make it onto my agenda, but
That's right. That's right.
all that is to say, no, I think you're exactly right. And even, something else happening this weekend is our welcoming of new members. We're doing it
Right.
during an all church worship service, recognizing that with this incoming class, we'll have, I think, 90 even new
Yeah.
members at Shepherd of the Desert in 2025, with another possibility for people, another opportunity for them to come to a Discover Shepherd class and
Right.
affiliate with us as members and commit to their spiritual home being here at Shepherd. We're right on the cusp of 40 baptisms this year. It's just been so energizing to be having conversations with people that either have been walking with us for a while and are ready to jump in the pool with both feet, or people that
Yeah.
have just recently landed here and found a home that they love, worshiping with people that they can relate to, relaxing into the pews and into the chairs and feeling like this is a place where God is taking care of me and I can just let go of some of those pressures that I feel Monday through Saturday and just
Yeah.
be embraced by this community and by the Spirit, receiving God's gifts, singing His praise, hearing His word. So
Right.
that personally has just been such a point of encouragement for me. Uh,
Yeah.
in all of this, it's like we've been working so hard with 5-2. We've been pushing so hard with the capital campaign. We're looking at, we've been on this building committee that met over the course of the last 18 months or so, digging into the details on blueprints. We've been talking about what vision is God leading us to. And then when you meet with new members, it's like, oh, like there is some great work being done behind the scenes by the Lord, blessing these efforts and bringing people here who will continue to um, make this a place that people can grow in faith. It's an awesome thing. It's humbling.
It is. It is an awesome thing. I think about I'm a statistics and numbers guy, you know that. I get kind of nerdy on this stuff, and that a congregation that averages, let's just say, over the course of a year, 350 to 450 people, depending on who's in town when, that we are welcoming nearly 20 to 25% of our average worship attendance is really phenomenal. It speaks a lot about the experience of hospitality, the sense that spiritually significant things are happening at Shepherd in a warm, caring environment. That is a credit not just to us as pastors and staff, but particularly to the congregation that is, shoulder to shoulder with these new members. And then, of course, the baptisms that are coming on board. One of the things I think I'm excited about is that for the coming year, we've done a neat thing where we've set a kind of a balance between having a focus on new members, which when you do that, it can create an environment where current congregation members feel like, well, everybody's really only concerned about new people. What about me? We've got this parallel path where we're talking about 2,000 hours a year of integral staff time that really focuses on current member one-on-one discipleship, life coaching, that kind of thing. And talk a little bit about your heart, because one of the things I really love about John Karolus is that John is a great talker and he's really a good friend. Like, I'm always impressed when I see you talking to people that you've known for like 10 years on like a Zoom call in your office. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm always chicken with my head cut off trying to just catch up with people last week that I met. And you have a real constancy of friendship and commitment. So talk a little bit about how you keep that heart of connection and encouragement on a long-term basis with your friends, family, and, classmates, and certainly Shepherd members.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'd say it's definitely those kind of connections are things I benefit from probably more than the person meeting with me.
Right.
But it really is just one of the ways that God's showed up in my life is the people that He's given to me as friends and as family and as colleagues and as church members. Where every morning at around 6 o'clock, I get a group text from a member of my vicarage congregation, and it just has two images, and it's a Bible verse. And nobody responds. It's a non-respond group text. That's kind of the agreement that they all have together. But just to know that here's 10 people who are thinking about God's word at the same time, receiving encouragement from Him in that. There's a phone call I try to host on Wednesdays with pastors who are in seminary around the same time I was, and just pray for each other, whether it be the expectation of new family members in the form of babies coming up in the future, or grieving the losses of loved ones, thinking about opportunities in other contexts. It's a privilege to live at a time where we can so easily connect to other people. And I
Love
think
that.
as we consider what our calling might be next at Shepherd, we've been working hard on establishing um, kind of pipelines and systems so that people who are visiting can very naturally explore whether this is going to be their long-term home. And
Right.
there are some extremely well established ministry program opportunities already there. And the only drawback from that is a new person can feel a little intimidated to try and explore something that's been around a long time. But with this vision piece of our ministry staff having regular personal interactions, conversations, meetings with the people that call Shepherd home. I and combine that with this, Red Letter Forgiving Challenge small group sprint that we're setting up for the season of Lent.
Yep.
Those two things together, I think, are going to help us really grow into the potential that God's placed on us to be the place where a Christian can come and ask the question, consider the question: What's God working on in my life? Where is He leading me? What gifts and talents has He entrusted to me that I should be making the most of? What comfort is He working on me, that I might be able to let go of some of these long-term scars and serve my neighbors in ways that I hadn't thought of before. So, I guess personality-wise, I really resonate with that idea of forming these regularized, deep personal interactions. But I truly, when I look at our congregation, um, having had the chance to preach at Shea for the last 2 weeks, thinking about Mountain View kind of being my home base and the
Yeah.
people that are there. We've got such a special church. I mean, I love our congregation, and it is
Love our
it
congregation.
is not something I take for granted. And our
Mm-mm.
staff are
Mm-mm.
just it's amazing the people I get to work with and the
Yeah.
people we get to work with. And so, to think about how God is really going to allow us to connect the dots on, what, let's get these people together. Let's let them grow together. I'm excited. It gets me super pumped up.
Well, and I think, that's what makes you such a good preacher too. And I would argue, I'm going to speak self-absorbedly. You know me. But I think if any merit or commendation accrues to me as a preacher, I hope it's because, like you, I love to get to know people. And when you get to know people over breakfast, lunch, or coffee, it makes your preaching and public communication so much more textured, certainly deeper, but textured is kind of my word for the moment, because there's no life that's the same as another life. And when all of a sudden you start bringing in the texture of a life that is like another life, but now someone's listening and you've brought in this different texture, it makes their life even uh more competent. I don't know. The vision I have right now is like herringbone fabric, because my wife was wearing this really warm looking herringbone jacket, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that just looks like so warm and cozy. I want to curl up with a cup of tea like in northern Minnesota by a raging fire and read a book in that jacket, which doesn't fit me because I've been eating so much food since my birthday. But I just, that's what I love about this. And so for me personally, even though the investment of time for me, the staff, is going to be substantial, there is a benefit that's going to come to me. And it's not just being helpful, like I'm glad to be helpful. The preaching, the ministry at Shepherd gets better when pastors and ministry leaders hang out with their parishioners.
Mhm.
Um, and
Mhm.
so, yeah, it's just,
I think too, our culture is constantly asking the question, "Who am I?"
yeah,
Who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? How do I find that truest sense of myself? And what Jesus promises in his preaching in the Gospel of John, "I've come that you might have life and have it to the full."
right,
He's opening us up to the reality that we won't be our full selves without Him, and
yeah,
so we want to explore with each person that we walk with who God is calling them specifically to be and the way that he's positioned them to be uniquely valuable in his hand as a tool for his kingdom. And obviously, of course, we know God is in control of all things and is using people where they're at already. But in our Christian faith, we're able to become aware of that and even participatory in uh, the work that God is doing. And so we're identifying areas of challenge, areas of growth, areas of strength. We're really deploying each other into the harvest fields for God's kingdom, and then they are, and we together are inviting others into that deeper realization of who we are, knowing that we're nobody without Christ, and with Christ, He draws out those personal aspects that He has given each of us
right.
personally, um, so that one day when we're all gathered together in the heavenly kingdom, it's going to be the most beautiful mosaic ever. It's not going to be a single white wall. It's going to be an art gallery filled with all kinds of complexity and uniqueness. And
Very
I'm excited
nice.
about that.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, all good, brother. This is going to be great. And thanks for the partnership in the gospel. Thank you, for those of you who are listening, for your partnership in the gospel. Thanks for being part of our Shepherd Digital Ministry. We pray that when we do these kinds of podcasts and other kinds of digital connects, that you receive maybe a big nugget or a small nugget, but just whatever it is that gets you through this next season that God has you in. And the season can be as short as 24 hours, it could be as long as a lifetime. But what we know is this, is that God always wants to be part of the seasons of your life as they change. It might be something having to do with your character in one moment. It might be something to do with your vocation and calling, parent, dad, grandfather in the next moment. But all along the way, God, who is faithful, the same yesterday, today, and forever, is the one who, by his Holy Spirit, wants to continue to connect with you. And so please know that even if you're not here in Scottsdale, breakfast, lunch, or coffee can be had over Zoom, and you can just connect with us through our website, and we would love to connect back with you. And so thanks for joining us today. Thanks, John, for getting me on this call as well, and we'll look forward to another podcast soon enough.